Tulum, Mexico, beautiful white sand beaches. Cenotes, wonderful food. It is the Instagram-worthy place that is worthy for you to be. Stop. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I just simply can't do it. This is not going to be another YouTube video of influencer Instagram shots of showing the little teeny pieces of Tulum, Mexico that look so gorgeous and avoid everything else. Let's just get into it.
I thought you were gonna lead.
Okay, I'll lead. So we are in Tulum, Mexico. This is my 60th birthday gift, her not quite 60th birthday gift. And I really want to know what Nikki thinks of Tulum, because my first impression was not what I thought it was going to be. And I'll explain in a second, but you've been here. How does the old Tulum compare to the new Tulum, and how did you like it?
Well, I really liked it a lot, but I did have to keep that in mind that it is a new Tulum. So we basically have 2 or 3 different areas that we visited, and they're completely different from each other and all worth enjoying. But it is a new Tulum, and we have areas that are highly for people with a lot of money and very Instagram worthy, and that wasn't kind of our thing. They're nice to look at from the outside, but not standing in line just for a picture.
And that was my biggest thing. We did a lot of research on Tulum before we came, so naturally we turned to YouTube. Where else would you go? And it is an Instagram-worthy place. In fact, I'm gonna roll a little video on top of this. You can see some pictures right now of what people take. There's this lady that has this giant open chest made of wood, and everyone takes that Instagram photo. Well, here's a video of all the people standing in the hot sun in a long line waiting to take their picture in front of this. It's on a dusty, barely 2-lane road. It is not Vienna level worthy Riviera kind of place. It is if you frame it right, but I was expecting more Instagram, my bad. But it's a lovely place, and the places are lovely, but you got to be aware that Tulum is a small Mexican town. It looks like a Mexican town, but you got to find the beauty. You're not going to Disney World here. Would you agree with that?
I agree with it, and that's the reason why I came here, because it's Mexico, and I wanted to be in Mexico.
Okay, we're going to take you a little chronologically, because it's the only way I can think of doing this, of what we did. The first day we kind of explored the Pueblo. By the way, the Pueblo is in town. There's a whole section over on the beach, La Playa. They are not walkable. They say you can ride a bike from here to there if you want to take your life in your own hands. But I'm just going to skip the Pueblo. It is completely different at night. We went out last night, and what you see during the day is not what you see at night. It really comes alive. During the day, it's just kind of a really hot, dusty Mexican town. But what did we do the first real day? We went out to the beach. Oh, here's a good one. We had a snack on the beach. Some guy came along with 2 buckets. One was full of peanuts, and the other was filled with
Grasshoppers, dried grasshoppers.
Were they grasshoppers or crickets?
They're grasshoppers, saltamontes.
So they're actually literally dried grasshoppers. You can get them with chili or not. And I'm probably running video right now. We got a bag. They weren't bad. They were pretty good. Only problem is they're messy. The chili, and they love chilies down here in Mexico. Chili powder just gets everywhere. You have to go run into the water. The beaches are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The beaches themselves are, I don't know, my impression, yours may be different. It's full of beautiful people. Now, we were talking about this last night. I don't know if that's because of COVID and older folks aren't traveling. This feels like a very younger town. I know the hostel across the way is a very younger party place. But it's not to say there's any problem with over 50 folks or over 60 folks coming here, but it does kind of feel like a place where the beautiful people hang out. But the beaches are gorgeous. I couldn't get out of the water. I love being in it. They're very friendly. They're not super pushy as far as what they sell and do. You do have a little issue getting all the beaches. I have to describe what it's like over there on the beach. There's jungle, a little road, and then they sort of have these beach clubs. They're very nice. They're all made out of wood, very natural stuff. It doesn't look like what you would expect a beach club to be. It is very natural, and it's kind of hard to get to the beach without going through some of them. They're very nice. Just pretend like you have a stay pass there. You can walk through.
They have walkways you can get into the beach area.
But highly recommend the beach. In fact, today we're going back there. The next day we did two things. We did the Mayan ruins, and I'm just going to turn this over to you because I didn't really understand it. Get a guide. We did not get a guide, so we sadly have to go to Wikipedia to find out what it was we saw. But the ruins are actually on the water. And what did you think of them?
Well, I really enjoyed seeing them, but I have seen a lot of ruins, and what you learn to discover from this area is that they're everywhere. And every day they're finding a new ruin, and they're pretty much leaving it up to scientists to lead the way. So they're closed off until they can do the excavation, they can do that. So the ones that we went to were the Tulum Ruins, and they were just right off the beach. And I did enjoy seeing them. I wanted to know more about them, but we just wanted to be exploring. We didn't want to have that whole guide thing. Now I realize, okay, that would have been nice to do that.
Now, we did have a little fun thing. By the way, we take a lot of taxis here just because we're lazy and we don't want to get a bike. You can take taxis. The ruins are actually on the beach, and they sort of have these zones, by the way. Some of the taxi drivers, one of them tried to get us. But they're zones. They're either 200 pesos, 250, 300 pesos, depending on how far you're going. We got in a cab at the ruins, and we went to a beach place. Cost us 200 pesos, which is what, 10 bucks? Basically went a quarter of a mile.
We didn't realize that one we could have walked.
But we went to the beach right afterwards, and there's a public beach,
Paraíso.
You don't actually have to pay to get in. And the food is really good. The drinks are really good. And you can walk the beach from there. There are 4 different beaches. Go find some other video if you want to see what those details are. We spent some time in the North Beach, and then actually, they don't even call it that, by the way. The taxi drivers don't say this is North Beach, Beach, South Beach. They just call it by, what did he tell you?
He said that they just call it by wherever the hotel is there or the beach club is there. For them, it's easier. So when somebody says, "Oh, I want to go to such and such beach," they know that it's the one by Elixir, then they just go ahead and know that that's the beach you're going to be left at.
So you have to make a choice, fine ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to Tulum, is whether you stay in the Pueblo or whether you stay in the beach. And for me, I'm glad we stayed in the Pueblo. It's more authentic, and like we went out last night, and when you go to the taco trucks, by the way, be very careful about the portion size. I wish I had taken video. We had ordered the mucho grande.
Mata hambre, which is to kill your hunger. We ordered a mata hambre. We didn't realize that it was for like 10 people.
They handed us 2 giant plates of food with this stack of tacos on it, and then went, "That's only one of them." Anyway, we prefer the Pueblo. If you just want the beach scene, go to the beach scene. There's a lot of good places to eat and drink here in the Pueblo. Hey, future me again. I wanted to sort of interject something that I really didn't mention it too well before. And that's 2 things. That's the food and that's the nighttime. The food is absolutely incredible. It is. I didn't have one bad meal there. In fact, every single thing I put in my mouth was just incredible. And that includes the street food. Oh my God, the street food is so good. But what I really wanted to talk to you about was there are 2 different Tulums, especially in the Pueblo and also at the beach, night and day. For instance, on the beach side, daytime is better, obviously, because you're on the beach and you want the sun. It sort of wraps up. It becomes very isolated and it kind of shuts down a little bit after dark. You're basically going inside and drinking, and it's just the opposite in the Pueblo. During the day in town, it's just kind of a hot dusty, regular Mexican town. It's nice, there's a lot of shopping, it's kind of touristy, but at night it all changes. All of a sudden, the restaurants have all these wonderful lights and the outdoor cafes, and the temperature actually comes down some. The nighttime in the Pueblo is the time to be in the Pueblo. So as far as my recommendation, whichever side you want to stay on, the Pueblo or the beach side, during the day, I would head over to the ocean. I would head over to the water. But at night, that's when you go into town. That's when you go into the Pueblo, and that's when you enjoy what Tulum has to offer. Anyway, again, let's get back to your show, already in progress. The next day, we went to the Cenotes. I'm hoping I'm going to get this right. Cenotes are, in America we would call them quarries, except these are made by nature, and there are thousands upon thousands of them. And they're all loosely interconnected underground through limestone rock. It's basically a big hole full of really fresh, refreshing, cool water. There are some caves. We went to Grand Cenote because you wanted to swim with who?
The bats.
You go into the cave and there's bats and what was the other?
Finches.
Oh, little finches, and they
turtles.
dart all around your head. They shit on you too.
Turtles and little
Oh,
fish.
turtles. Grand Cenote was a little touristy, but it was very beautiful. It had two caves, one on each side you could kind of swim in. The water's not bad. It is cold when you first get in. You are going to make a face. You are going to have to wash in cenote water before you get into the cenote to get the sunscreen and the bug spray off. You're not allowed to wear that because they care about their ecology. It's refreshing. Oh man, I'm so not gonna like this. Yeah, refreshing. Now the next day we went to another cenote. That was yesterday. Actually, we went to two.
Cristal and
Ensenada. It was the one that was along with Cristal. You pay for one, you get to two. Much more natural. It's sort of a place where kind of the locals go. We learned the hard way. You can take a taxi out there, but there's no taxis coming back. It's way off the beaten path. But I loved it. I like that cenote better. It didn't have bats, but it was just huge and natural, and you were surrounded by jungle and bugs.
lots of rivers, and then if you really like cave diving, you cannot see the caves from the cenote area, from the surface area, but they do have cave diving. There are caves underneath the water. You can't see them from above, but it also has a long range of rivers, so if you like that, it just kind of just way of floating, just going down, it is beautiful.
And it is chilly, and yeah, I know I'm making faces in a lot of this little video that you're seeing. It really wasn't bad. If you go to Central Florida and you jump in their streams, it's the same temperature, but that stays death cold forever. You get used to it really quickly here. And you just kind of want to live in the cenote. It's one of my actual favorite things about Tulum. What was your favorite thing about Tulum?
That food, that a large amount of food we had yesterday.
Like I say, the crickets, the grasshoppers were good. The food everywhere is good. Very, very plentiful. I don't think we've had a bad meal here. And we've kind of eaten where people, the locals kind of eat. We tend to avoid a lot of the touristy places. But would you come back to Tulum?
Yes, definitely, I would. And I think there's a lot of things to still experience because we didn't leave this area. So from this area to other centralized, beautiful areas, there's quite a bit. You could do day trips, you could do 2 or 3 day trips. And I think that's one of the reasons I would do it. I would probably do 2 or 3 more days here to see the rest of the cenotes and some of the other beaches. But I would also do some day trips from here. And we could probably talk about that at some later point that are very important.
Now, I've got the opposite view in a way. I love Tulum. I'm glad we came. A week was good. I think it's a one and done. Would I come back to the Yucatan Peninsula to explore the rest of southern Mexico? Absolutely. but I think I've seen what Tulum itself has offered. By the way, it's about an hour and a half car ride through Mexican roads where you see overturned cars and lots of traffic, and topes, the speed bumps. They'll kill, the roads here will kill your kidneys. I don't know that I would come back to Tulum, but I very much want to explore the rest of southern Mexico. The weather is gorgeous. It's absolute perfect temperature. It's hot, but you don't really notice it. And the people are wonderful. Any last thoughts before we're actually getting ready to put the camera away and go to the beach and have a relaxing Coco Loca kind of day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a few clubs that we're going to manage to get in and swim at the beaches.
To do the brutally honest Tulum review that I offered you, from a tourist perspective, do you need Spanish? No. Does it help? Absolutely. You can get away with English pretty much anywhere here. Do get a smattering of it just because it's polite, and a lot of the taxi drivers are a little iffy. But yes, it is very American friendly, if you will. It is a bit of a drive from Cancun. The flight for us from Florida was just a breeze. I highly, highly recommend coming down here. It's great for a weekend, a long weekend, or a week. It is, you're either coming down here for nature, or you are coming down here for the partying beach scene. Again, don't expect the Riviera. Don't expect Disney level grandeur. Expect natural Mexican beauty. And stop looking at all the Instagram worthy shots and expecting the entire world to look like that outside a frame. It doesn't. So
good.
Yeah, it's good for us. Be good for you. And with that, I guess we have to go to the beach. Our last day. We are going to miss it. Well, that be healthy, be happy, and we will talk to you all really soon.